Hello, freaks. I'm RiK MG. This is the first episode of my podcast, InkkyPunk's Funny Folk and Freaks, where we chat about what makes us laugh and the freaks in our lives, plus any other nonsense that comes up. It's just an excuse, really, for me to have a natter with someone and ask them probing questions because I'm nosy. Curious, let's say curious. My guest today is Rachael Milne, a good friend of mine on Lisbon's English comedy scene. We've known each other a couple of years now and started stand up at a similar time in life, but she's not hanging around because she is doing her first solo show at Edinburgh Fringe this year. Ah. Anyway, she'll tell you all about that and more in our chat. So let's dive in. What would you be? Could it be any weird and wonderful creature? What would you be?
I'd love a golden retriever. Maybe a mop, like a Primark mannequin, because they're like the perfect body shape, the clothes fit them. And it goes with the plug for my show for Edinburgh Fringe. Devil Wears Primark. Get your tickets at www.devilwearsprimark.com.
And we're on.
Hi,
Is it Rachel or is it Raquelita Fantasticas already straight?
Raquelita Fantastica.
Which is
You
yours?
can call me Rachel. You can call me Rach, Rick.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't know how did you come about that? That for people that
name.
don't know, your Instagram handle is Raquelita Fantastica. Yeah.
It is. You said it with the Portuguese slur rather than the Spanish. Yeah, the Portuguese just slur. It says Raquelita Fantastica because I used to live in Spain. And so Rachel becomes Raquel. And I lived in the south of Spain in Cadiz where they do the nicknames Raquelita. And then I was doing a Spanish class one year and we were doing the verb poder, which is can for ability. And so I was Raquelita de Fantastica. My planet was Fantastica, and then all of the superpowers that we had, right? So it's kind of superpowers. And then I accidentally kept saying Raquelita la Fantastica, not realizing it means sort of Rachel of the fantastic stories that are maybe not that true. And then it just stuck. And then I didn't want to have my work and my Instagram associated. So I stuck with the stage name. Not sure I'm going to keep it long term.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Whenever I see you build on comedy shows, it's usually Rachel, yeah?
Yeah, it depends who produces them.
Right.
So
Alright.
some people would introduce me as Raquelita Fantastica, and some people just don't even like to try and pronounce it. So I just get Rachel.
Rachel. How many years have you been in now?
In what?
Comedy, stand up. When did you start?
3.5 years when I moved to Lisbon.
You first did it in Lisbon.
First did it in Lisbon. Should I tell you how it happened?
Yes, please.
So I was asked to speak at a conference about a business I set up here in Portugal. And everyone was there at this conference. I was doing it half and half with this guy who's quite famous. And so he was there with lots of slides and statistics that people were interested in. And I was just some nobody, some English chick talking about her venture into Portugal. So I decided to do a stand-up comedy style and just tell the storytelling. And people were really laughing. And I was a bit of a clown. I walked into the lectern twice and stuff. And people said to me afterwards, that was excellent, really funny. And so that was great. And then 2 days later, I saw a meetup advert online saying, come to a story writing workshop. So I went along to that. I don't think I wrote any jokes. And then I had someone who then started coaching me. So I was coming out with material and I was sending them WhatsApp messages. They were saying, drop that, try that, keep that. And then 3 weeks later, I think it was, I did my first 3 minutes at Selva Comedy Cafe. And then I think the bug happened because I don't know about you, Rick, but I just feel when the mic's in my hand, you have all pre-show nerves, and you're going to forget everything. But once the mic's in your hand, I'm so at home.
Yeah, it's similar to you. I only started a few years ago, quite late in life for me. And you already in your professional life stand up in front of people and talk quite a lot, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm a project management and leadership trainer, and then I'm a conference speaker as well. And so all of those things, it's like flexing a muscle, isn't it? You just get better and better. But even now, sometimes I go on stage and I've got involuntary wobbly leg and I feel totally calm and I know what I'm doing, but the leg's going. The body's giving me another sign, right?
I
But
get that.
yes,
Just
I
in
guess it
general
is a,
life.
you just get wobbly legs anyway, do
Yeah,
you? Getting old,
walking down
mate.
the steps. Yeah. But yeah, because I don't, I've never had that in my professional life where I do many presentations in front of many people. So yeah, it came from nowhere for me. Just suddenly got this itch that needed
Yeah.
scratching. And
Ugh.
I know. And I'm still scratching it. It's not getting any better, but I'm still scratching it.
Was yours a
Yeah,
midlife crisis thing, do you think? You couldn't
maybe.
afford the motorbike or the sports car?
Exactly. Exactly. It was the cheapest option. And now sometimes you get paid for it. Not much, but
Yeah.
yes.
To avoid homelessness, we have to do the day jobs.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But you've always been a fan of comedy, I imagine, for you're a funny woman. You're a funny
Thanks a
freak.
million. I wouldn't say I've always been a fan of comedy or even stand up, to be honest. A very new, because I talk to you guys and you're always like, oh, this person, I think, God, I don't know any of them. And not a lot of people make me laugh out loud. Lol, lol, lol. But I have to
And
say, Mickey Flanagan makes me lol a lot. I think, do you know who he is? Mickey Flanagan, out, out.
yeah, of course. He's from a similar part of the world of you, isn't he?
Well,
South.
roughly, yeah, south. I know you're northern, so anything south of Watford, south. So yeah, more or less. But then you up your way, you got Sarah Millican. She's hilarious.
Well, yeah. She's the other side. Newcastle. She's from
Yeah, but north, north.
yeah. That's north, yeah.
And then it just you'd see Michael McIntyre on stage. I really like the way how he acts out stuff and like
I know.
takes it to the crazy. And he's such a kind of clean whistle type of guy, isn't he? You couldn't imagine him depressed or drunk or on drugs or anything. He seems pretty clean living. So I guess I've always been fans of comedy, but not to the nerd level that most of our comedian friends are.
Yeah, yeah. I saw Michael McIntyre in Lisbon a couple of years ago. He is brilliant. You see a lot
Yeah.
of him on TV, British TV. I don't think he travels globally. I think maybe he had a Netflix special. But anyway, just to see him do stand up, you just think, shit, yeah, this guy is fucking brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't always get to see that when he's presenting The Wheel or whatever other game show TV program.
Oh, I didn't know he's got into that sort of. I didn't know he sold himself out for that. Jesus.
Yeah, gotta make the money, innit?
I'd be selling myself out any opportunity, no problems.
I bet. But what from when you were a kid though, what's your earliest memory of something cracking you up, making you laugh? Just like going out as far back as you can remember.
Yes. So back in Bisley in Surrey, where I'm from, my mum's house was like the epicenter for everyone to come and have cups of tea. So there was always loads of women sitting around the kitchen table drinking cups of tea all day or in the evenings. And so I was always little in and eavesdropping and listening to them. And they'd all just be like, they'd all be laughing, they'll be cracking up. So, and then my mum was actually, she worked in the local mental hospital as
You?
a nurse and then as a barber with
Oh,
no, she had nursing skills and qualifications, but she didn't have any barbering qualifications. So she would have quite a lot of funny stories from the mental institution.
she was cutting
Uh,
people's hair in the mental institution. Or it was
yes.
oh,
And it was a short back and sides. You know what short back and sides was? And this was like an army short back and sides, which I think is even fashionable now. So it would start here and just basically be like just that across there. And when I remember when I first saw her do a haircut, I thought, God, no wonder they're mental. I'll be going mental if she cut my hair like that as well. Because she would take me in like on school days, holidays and stuff, and I'd sit there and watch her doing all the patient's hair. And it was interesting because there's never like any security or anything like that there. So I just met a lot of odd people growing up. I remember her taking me through imagine Victorian building hospital. She took me through the men's wards and introduced me to every single one of the patients.
they're all the
And
nutcases.
All of them. But back in the day then, they just threw anyone in the nut house. And I remember meeting this one guy, I must have been 7 years old. It's dark and it's depressing and people are rocking and they're making noises and it stank of male urine. And then she introduced me to this one guy and he shook my hands and they were all like lovely and polite and gorgeous to me. And then after we left, I said to Mum, "Oh, why is he in here?" She said, "Well, half of his body was artificial because he threw himself under a train line." And she goes,
Jesus.
"But you shook his good hand." And I was like, the childhood trauma pretty much started from them, because it was really freaky. But no, just generally, like Mum always had people around her laughing. I was the youngest kid. What are you? What order are you in for your?
Well, I've got an older brother, but I've got 2 younger half sisters.
Okay, so you were the youngest, but then the halves came in, did they?
I never lived with the halves, so yeah, I was a younger brother.
Because they say the firstborn they put everything into, right?
Uh,
It's the pressure. The secondborn less so, and by the third one they just like don't give a shit. So I
mm.
was the youngest child. They didn't really give a shit about me. So I
Take
guess
her
I was
down
just
the
always the
take her
funny
down the
one.
nut house for a day out.
Exactly. They get into very inappropriate surroundings for a very young child, often.
So wait a minute, he threw himself under a train, but so
Only got
sideways?
half of him.
Right.
I don't know. No, he wasn't. He wasn't like half and half Ricks if he dead. So he obviously
Yeah.
just lost an arm and a leg.
Right. Right. It was a half-assed attempt then. If him,
Poor bugger.
poor fella. Shouldn't be taking the piss, really, should we? Anyway,
He'd be long gone.
be long. But hang on, you said male smelling urine. I've never
Yeah.
thought about this before. Does
What?
female and male urine smell different?
Go and ask your wife.
Eh,
Male urine stinks, mate. It pen and inks. It's
I'm sure
gross.
women's urine depends
No.
what you've been eating.
Smells of flowers, mate. Yeah. So no, male urine smells like it's got higher ammonia content. It absolutely stinks compared to female urine.
Is it?
Yeah,
Right.
you can Google that later. Fun
Oh, but-
fact.
well, I live with 2 women, so I'm going to have to do my own research. I said, don't flush that toilet. I'll
Want to sniff it later?
it's slip you bit.
That's disgusting.
Well, all in, all in the. I'm not going to do that. Cut
Yeah,
that.
I don't do that.
Cut that.
Just ask your wife. Just ask Raquel. Just say
Does my piss stink?
she'll say 100% it
Mm.
stinks.
Hey, the things you learn. No, but I could relate to what you were talking about with your mother having all the friends round and they're all nattering in the living room. I used to listen to all that as well, and then I'd always be mimicking them. Like it's little phrases that they had with the stick in your. Oh, mother, you wouldn't believe all this like real
Yeah.
old
What
women
is like
sayings.
my
They
mum
still
says,
come up now. They still come up now in my mind.
so what are some of the phrases? Like, for example, my mum always goes, when she shops, she says, "Well, I'm blowed."
But I'm blowed. Well, I never. Yeah, mother used to say that. None
And
of
the
them
other
could.
one was, "What a carry on." Oh, what a carry on. Well, I'm blowed.
Well,
Have you ever
what a
been
carry on.
blowed before?
Once or twice. Not by my mother's friends. What a carry on, though. That was that a phrase before the carry on films, the a British institution. What a
Don't
carry
know.
on. It must have been. What a carry on.
Did-
I
so
wonder
did
which came first.
we grew up listening to them because they didn't get paid any royalties, did they? So they used to put the Carry On films on all the time, didn't they, on normal TV? And
All
that's why
around
they
there.
played so many of them. But like,
Ah,
so yeah, so you grew up with them. You must have seen all of them 3 times. And it's isn't it? And at Monty Python, you meet Americans even now, they're like, "Oh my God, I love British humor, like Monty Python." You're like, that's before I was born. Look, it's funny and they paved the way for humor, but
um,
I don't find it particularly hilarious. I think something like The Office is much more observational humor. It's way funnier than this slapstick stuff.
Well, that's it. I had someone, I think it was an American, said that to me after a show recently. He said, "Oh, I really love British humor." What do you mean? There's so much variety in British humor. Like, do you mean those slapstick carry-on films? What do you mean? Do you mean The Office? It's such a
I bet they meant Monty Python.
Monty Python. I wouldn't say like what I do on stage is Monty Python-esque, but
But we've got the Americans love our accent. We can get away with saying anything, right? They just love the accent. I love the way they call it a British accent, which is
mm.
like four countries.
Well, you'll get British accent. With me, this is a big insult to Irish and Scottish people. Oh, say, are you Irish? Are you from
Oh, really?
Scotland? Because it's a Northern English accent that they're not necessarily familiar with. They're more
You're
familiar
doing
with York English accent. But I wish I had a Scottish or an Irish accent, because I just think it has such good flow to it. When it comes to
Yeah.
storytelling, I'm really envious of the Irish and Scottish accents, because I lived in
What?
Glasgow for 3 years, and even picked up some of the colloquialisms there that I'll still use, but I never drifted into full Scottish accent. I'm not going to lose this English accent. I wouldn't want to. But I remember a Swedish guy that I worked with up there, and for the first 3 months, I thought he was Scottish because he just full on Scottish
Ah,
accent. He was speaking
yeah.
English in a Scottish accent. I said, "Well, how come you've got this accent? I imagine you spoke English before you came from Sweden." He said, "Yeah, but nobody understood me. I was getting nowhere with the women, so I just developed a Scottish accent." And now he said he fit
Now he
in,
gets away with anything.
and he was a right womanizer as well. But
I met a Mexican the other week. I was working with him. He's a Mexican. He'd been living in Cork for 5 years. He had a Cork accent, and it just cracked me up. This Mexican, he'd only been living there 5 years. He said his English was diabolical by the time he got there, and now Cork accent. So Cork Island, so arguably still not a great accent. And I'm okay. I
yeah,
can say that I lived there.
the same thing happened in an Irish bar in Setúbal over here. There's a Portuguese guy, and he was speaking Portuguese to some friends, and then he had a drink of his Guinness, and then he spoke to the guy behind the bar who's Irish, and then he was speaking in English, but with a full-on Irish accent. I just thought, wow, that Guinness has had some really fucking effect
Yeah, it's
there. It's
working.
gone from Portuguese to full-on Irish just in a boom like that. But and he'd been living and working in somewhere in Ireland as well. Accents. You do ever do any accents on stage other than your own?
Well, I've thought about it. I've been working on this set recently because I'm going to Edinburgh Fringe. I wanted to do like the Scottish accent. And one of my friends here, in fact, I've got loads of Scottish friends here in Lisbon, and she's tried to help me, but I'm not very good at it. It's like you pish,
Mm.
chicken, and then I can do an Irish accent pretty good, but I don't know. Are you allowed to do accents anymore? I don't know if we're allowed to do them anymore.
You could do Scottish and Irish, no problem. Even
I can do.
German and French,
Well, actually,
Italian.
I yeah, but is it not like racist now to do that?
No, there's some lines that are blurring, but I think any European accent you can get away with. I think.
Because well, I suppose I've just done the American one. No one seems to care about doing the American one, right?
I think if you start drifting further south to Latin American accents, then you're heading into territory that's unacceptable for us white people to start doing. Because
Yeah.
I've been trying to do some accents here and there, but I'm not very good at them either. Some characters in my stand up, and yeah, I just maybe just don't bother with the accents.
Well, no, I think it's like when you do your daughter, you do this big booming voice, right? And then you have
Mhm.
two taglines on top of that, which really works. And I think if
And,
you are talking about a conversation you should have with someone, you should absolutely give them an accent, give them a persona so people
mm,
can judge them. And so or can get an idea of them. I love it when you get people who's like got different accents to their parents, and then they do their parents' accents. So I was at a comedy festival there recently, and the guy was British born Nigerian, so he had an accent like me. But then when he did his mum and dad, it was just really funny because you could just really relate to it, and it was just the things she said. So I lived in Australia, so I could do a bit of an Australian accent if I put it on, mate. That's not
mm.
bad.
So what?
I lived in Ireland as well, so they say, "Listen, come here to me now, Lucia. Look at the state of your one." Exactly. If I can't get the Scottish. I just can't do it because I was working on this material where how we all have inner voices. We've
Mhm.
got that inner voice, and it's always really negative, right? Because it's like our DNA is trying to protect us from woolly mammoths and stuff. So it's always trying to make us really negative. So I had inner voices, and it'll be an Irish woman saying, "Ah, Jesus, look at you up on stage. Will you get down? You're mutton dressed as lamb." And an Australian voice saying to me, "Mate, you're bloody ridiculous. Get off that stage. You're shit. You're not funny at all." And then I wanted to do the Scottish one, but I can't do it. But anyway, it's gone. It's probably hit the cutting room floor. How many of your jokes do you make it to stage?
Well, well, a lot of them go up there, but maybe only once. A
Oh,
lot of
there,
them
yeah. If you
only
do the
once,
open mic and stuff.
and then I find out it's. But the problem with my stuff is I start with them. The first ever bit I did was like 20 minutes when I practiced it, and I just thought, well, I need to get that down to 5 because I'm not going to get a
Yeah.
20-minute spot. I whittled it down to 5, and then after doing it on stage, like maybe 4 or 5 times, whittled it down and got to the essence of the bit, which was like 30 seconds,
And that's the bit you take away, right?
which is not a very, what's the word, efficient process.
That's exactly what I do. I start off with like the big story, and
Mm.
then you do it on. I mean, you know, you need to do it 10 times, right, before it becomes proven, and it just
Mm.
whittles down. And I've got stories that, like you say, were 20 minutes that are now just a one-liner,
Exactly.
and you're like, oh, that's just that one line now I use. So I think that's really, I think that's pretty normal. The
Mm.
point is, we're writing our own jokes, aren't we?
Well, you tag things on as well, don't you? Once you've got that, then you tag other bits onto that, then it becomes a bigger bit with funnier bits than the original waffle.
And then, so I record all of my shows just on audio, especially the open mics, because sometimes a one-liner comes out of you being on stage, and
Yeah.
then that's just absolute gold. So I did this one recently in an open mic. Someone gave you little prompts, and you had to like improvise, and it said something about the sex tapes, and then I just improvised, and that's currently now one of my favorite, most current jokes. Is all about the sex tapes I did when I was 20.
That's magical, isn't it? When that happens on stage,
Yeah.
happens very much to me. Sometimes I do, very rarely, in Portuguese as well. And I find when I do it in Portuguese, some things come up in Portuguese that will work in English as well, but I never would have thought of them if I'd have just done it in English.
Gotcha.
So anyway, you touched on it there. Your Edinburgh show. Let's talk about that. Hey, what, 3 years in? 3.5 years in, and you're doing your full Edinburgh Fringe show?
3.5 years in, so I've got 2 one-hour shows called The Devil Wears Primark, and I'm doing it over 10 days, and I'm doing for 8 days, I'm doing it twice a day. So I'm really excited. And I've just finished 4 preview shows here in Lisbon. I did Setúbal, Cascais, and 2 in Lisbon, and that was all such a great learning experience. And they were all such different shows. And now, when I think about it, God, I just thought I was going to go to Fringe and do that first 1 hour on stage on my first night. And it wasn't until Zena, my producer, said, okay, let's get you some shows. And I think, wow, that was so arrogant of me to think I was just going to rock up to Fringe and do my first 1 hour, because they were all really different shows. And now I'm finding my voice. So the first show did in that's the Cocteleria down in Setúbal. I looked at my notes a lot. I had to keep going back and doing a Ricky Gervais. He goes and has a glass of water or a beer. He's looking at his notes.
I do
But
that.
I've got all of my content, everything, all of my content out. And that was an hour. So I knew I had the hour. So the next show was a lot of my friends went, and they were all drinkers. And I was just much more ad-libbing, and just instead of worrying about the order of the jokes, I knew my materials to just say them as they came up. And then the next show was down in Cascais in front of a totally different group of people. Same thing. I just relaxed, just did the material I wanted to do. Definitely forgot stuff, but was doing that whole crowd work thing. And then the last show was in Cultura Lounge, and we videoed that. So just about to get the video today, and I'm going to use the cuts from there to promo Edinburgh. And that was a totally different show. So by the fourth one, I really built my confidence, and found my voice, because I'd say that when I was first got my solo show in Fringe, there was a few raised eyebrows as to the fact that I've only been doing it for 3.5 years. But isn't Fringe all about amateur, and isn't it about like that next level? And
Yeah, fuck the raised eyebrows. Crack on. Got no time to waste.
well, I'm not getting any younger.
Exactly. Me
And I,
too.
I don't want to be like, I'm 48 now. I don't want to be 58 and going around doing 5 minutes here and there, and for no money, or for a fiver or something. Maybe I will be doing that, but I think you just
You're
need
still
to,
always going to do that, aren't you? Because you've always
yeah,
got to try stuff out.
just want to progress. So 18 times I'll be doing the show. So it's going to be so interesting. I can put more new material in as I go, because it's my show. So if I cock it up, I cock it up, right? It's on me.
But you said you're doing 2 shows, but they're the same show. Did you make 2 shows a day?
2 shows a day of the same show, The Devil Wears
Right.
Primark.
Okay. I thought.
So I applied first through a talent agent who I met randomly, and they gave me my first 8 shows. And then I applied to Free Fringe, and then they wanted to give me the full run, but I just couldn't do a month in Edinburgh, right? It's too expensive, and I've got to work. So then they gave me the next 10 shows.
Nice work. Well, good
Thanks
luck.
a million.
Okay,
Thank
I'm gutted
you.
that I'm gutted that every one of your preview shows I had something going on, so I haven't been able to go to any of them.
You've listened to all of my old crap for the last 3 years, so you could probably get on stage and do the same thing anyway. You probably know it by now.
Do your
I could do
routine.
I could do Dirk, dirt box even.
That's one of my alter egos on stage for anybody wondering what the fuck you're talking about.
I think you probably
I'll have
need
to,
to elaborate
I'll
on
have to
what.
flash an image up on screen.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
I started out in comedy as a purple alien in full purple lycra suit, mostly to get over the stage fright. I had some things to say on stage, but I didn't never like to be on stage or center of attention. So I figured put myself in a full lycra suit, totally covered. That's how I'll get around it, and that's how I got around it for the first 6 months until some other comedians on the scene said I was doing stand up that didn't suit the character. They said you should take the costume off. Some of that
'Cause
stuff you're
your
doing is
voice and
good. Some of that other stuff you're doing doesn't suit the character, but it's good stuff. But being in that character doesn't make any sense. So just try it without. And the first time I tried it without, I felt even more comfortable than I did in the suit. So
you
it
felt
was
even more
comfortable
comfortable.
on
Ah.
stage.
Well, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that suit looked really uncomfortable.
I don't mean like physically comfortable.
No.
Just felt more natural because obviously I
Well,
was being me.
also appendages started falling off the suit when you're on stage. Maybe you could
Hey,
flash up another picture of which appendages they are.
spoiler.
Well, no, I haven't said anything.
Anyway, it's
But I
not
remember.
about me. It's not about
Okay.
me. It's about you. It's about you. Yeah. I don't know. Well, there must be other funny things that inspire you. I know you say you're not really into stand up, but there must be funny things. Your favorite comedy TV shows or things in everyday life. What makes you laugh?
So I've got certain friends I just proper belly laugh with them, right? I really miss them. I need some more belly laugh friends. And I've got other friends laugh like Muttley. Muttley. I really miss those people. And it's just observational humor, quick one-liners. And some of my friends are funnier than me, and some of their stuff's made it on stage. Something they've told me has made it on stage. The observational humor. So my
Screw you,
stuff's
you mean?
about, as in it's the one-liner they've come out with, and I'm using that on stage.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah, it's
Because it's
they're not
funny.
getting on stage.
Exactly.
Can't
But
see it go
they
to waste, can we?
do you get friends who message you and say, or when you speak to them, they go, "Oh, you can use this if you like," and then they tell you some really boring story, and you're like, I don't even want to hear it now, let
Yeah,
alone put it on
yeah, that's
stage.
the stuff that doesn't get on stage. It's the stuff
Yeah.
when people aren't trying to be funny. It's the funny stuff, isn't it? That's
And then do you get friends who say, "Can I write for you?" And then
I've had some friends who've like tried to write some stuff, and then they tried to write some stuff, and then I said, "Did you do anything?" They said, "No, it's really difficult, isn't it?"
yes, exactly. So I had about 3 people ask me immediately, "Can I write some stuff for you?" And at first I was like, "No, that's okay," because I didn't think they were funny. But then they asked me again. I thought, just say yes, because and I said, absolutely. And they never do. You never see anything from them ever.
Mm.
So that's a good one.
Well, that doesn't work for me. The funny stuff comes from just when you're having general conversations and having maybe some text chats, whatever, in the pub, whatever. That's when you just pick out that'll be funny. That'll be.
And then
You
and
want to
then and then just extend it. So my stuff's about dating disasters, and that's only funny because it's true, all the stuff that's happened. I do a yoga thing. I do like self-depreciation jokes, but still keeping myself sexy. Body changes, that's actually happening. I'm going through puberty, Rick. I don't know if I'm going through reverse puberty. That's what we're going to call it now.
congratulations,
Thank you.
finally.
So the hair will all drop off. And I guess and I think when I'm actually on stage, it's those quips, those one-liners that actually make everyone laugh, right? So because you naturally got it.
Mhm.
You're not following a script, so you just naturally got it. And I get like bursts of inspiration. So I do this thing called morning pages. Have you ever heard of this?
I have heard of that. I tried it myself.
Did it?
I
Did you
didn't
find it
keep
was
it up.
good?
Didn't keep it
No.
up.
Well, this comes from a book by, I think it's Julia Conway, called The Artist's Way. And it's all about unlocking your creativity.
Right
One,
over there on the bookshelf that you can't see.
oh, you got it. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
one of your kids is coming in and annoying you. So you've got it.
No,
But
no,
maybe you could model it now.
no. I can't be asked going over there to
Can't
get
be
it.
a
I'm not
lazy sod.
lying.
He can't be asked to pick up the book. He can't be asked to write it. Anyway, so that key takeaway from that is you get up in the morning and you write 3 pages of whatever it is, absolute dribble. You'll be like, you might remember a dream. You'll think, what have I got to do today? You'll run out of things to say. And once you get to 3 pages and big pages, it's free writing. That's when your mind clears up. And then what I started noticing, I'll be dreaming stuff and then I'll be like writing my dream down and I might even get something from my dream. That's bizarre as well. And generally, when you don't have internet, that's when you have all the time, right? So if you're on a plane and you just open your phone and I can write loads of stuff there. And then I also have this rolling Google document and I just put ideas into there because I think of an idea and it will go through my brain. I think, oh, that's really funny. I'll get up and go and like have a coffee and I've totally forgotten what it is.
And that's so
But that
annoying, isn't it?
annoys me. Oh my God. So now I'm like, right, just write it down 3 words and then just find that time to keep elaborating on it.
I did start that morning pages myself, but I don't know, getting up and sorting the kid out in the morning as well isn't conducive with getting up and just wait. You can have your breakfast in a minute. I've got my morning pages to write here.
Yeah. You have to get up. I do it in bed, so quite often you can't even read the writing. It looks like a heart rate monitor, but at least it's just out of your brain.
That's it. It's really just fucking scribbles. A lot of it
Yeah.
did seem to descend into scribbles.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I didn't keep that up. Probably was useful. Maybe I'll go back to it. The book's still there sitting around, and I always look at it thinking, wait, there were some good ideas in that book. Anyway,
Yeah.
where are we up to? Oh. Favorite freaks. The show
Yeah.
is called InkkyPunk's Funny Folk and Freaks. And you picked me up on this when I first asked you to do this, right? It was just called InkkyPunk's Freaks. So you were instantly like, oh, so I'm a fucking freak. I thought,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I need to put something else in there. So now it's InkkyPunk's Funny Folk, which is a category you fall into, and Freaks, which is what we're talking about now. Who is your favorite freak in life?
I know I was saying to you earlier, I found it's really hard to think of a particular freak. I've always had like a soft spot for people who like completely in their weirdness, and who they don't really fit in. They don't really fit in, and they're usually more interesting than like the normal people who do fit in. So, for example, if I went to an event and it was like one of these social events to go and meet people, my friend always says I always turn up with the weirdest person in the room. Like they naturally gravitate towards me, or I naturally gravitate because I hate people feeling uncomfortable. So I'll just go straight over. And my friend would say, out the 100 people that we went out on that room to meet new friends, you pick the weirdest person, and then they're with us all night, right?
I can relate to
Uh,
that. I can relate to that. Maybe that's a comedian's thing. You're instantly drawn to something out of the ordinary because it's going to be more interesting than the general chit chat.
Exactly. So I can't, and then I was saying to you as well, so my hometown had all the mental institution and the government closed it down. So they were all shipped into like these private nursing homes but they were nursing homes really. So the whole village had a lot of roaming mentally ill people in the village. And so we'd be coming back from school as like teenagers on our own, and we'd throw our sandwiches in the bin and then be in the bin getting that. Uh and just it was like walking home from school and it was like Night of the Living Dead walking towards you. I always say Acropolis, but that's Greece. Zombie
Apocalypse.
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But again, these people had mental health problems. As a 15-year-old, you're probably not very kind about that. But there was all these people. And I just find now there's all these odd people and they're not locked up, but they've got TikTok followings and YouTube pages. They've actually got a platform.
Now they're monetizing it. Isn't it?
Or just 30 years ago, you'd have been in a nut house, and now you've
Yeah.
got 3 million
Who?
Instagram
Me?
followers.
Oh, right.
You
I
too.
think I probably would have been at some point for sure. But in your hometown there, where you've got freaks aplenty, because they were in an institution, so they're contained in there. But then they're going to homes where
They
they're free
closed
to
the
roam.
institution. They
Right?
sold out, and they turned into a housing estate.
So you've got them wandering around, and there's that many freaks. The thing with freaks is they usually stand out from the rest. But if you've got a town full of freaks, it's just like becomes the norm. You were the freak.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And what, you never heard of any people being murdered or attacked or anything like that. So they were just,
Freaked out.
it was just there. Yeah, it was just there.
Right. Oh, that's. I'm just picturing that town. I imagine it would be hilarious. There's a guy in our town here. It's really sad story, which I imagine there is a lot of traumatic and sad stories behind the majority of these freaks that we probably politically incorrect to say. But freaks to me is a term of endearment, affection, because I love freaks. I love anybody. Is it a negative, freaks? Because for me, it's as we touched on, it's people who are more interesting. They're a bit freaky, but for me, it's like more colourful and out there. But anyway, this guy in the town here is Sazimba. He's a Dutch guy, and he lost his whole family on a boat accident out in the sea in Sazimba. His wife and his kids all drowned at sea, and he
That's
survived.
awful.
I know. And now this guy just wanders around Sazimba, like shouting at the ocean. And every people have tried to like help him out and the council to get him in a house, but he just wants to wander around and he's just shouting. I don't know if it's Dutch because I don't speak Dutch, but it's just it doesn't make any sense. But he has such amazing style because he just gets bits of clothes from anywhere. A friend of mine who works in a restaurant down there put his shorts out on the front wall to dry after he'd been in the ocean. He went in to do some work and then he came out and the shorts were gone. And then 2 days later, the Dutch guy's walking around in his shorts. But it's not just that. This guy will just find bits of material and tie them round his wrist, and so he's accessorizing. He's like a homeless guy who's accessorizing, and he inspired some of the style that I used for Dirt, the Purple Alien, because Dirt wears any old bits of shit in the same way.
From that really
Freaks.
tragic story. Or just
Yeah.
that tragic story.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I was more thinking about celebrity or being eccentric or something, or quirky or something like that. Really, can't really think of it. But I want to address the elephant in the room, which is about this, RiK. If I told you,
Oh, it's not as noticeable with your glasses on.
to your audience, I've had bad Botox. So this was they put a little injection under your eyebrow and it lifts up your eye, makes you look young and interested and virile.
Wake.
This eye's had like 4 coffees and a line of speed. But when she was putting it in on the other eye, I sneezed.
Oh,
And so this eye is actually paralyzed the muscle.
fuck.
And
Permanently.
I hope not. I really hope not. I think I've probably got this for another 4 months. So this is the eye that's like had 3 gin and tonics, a spliff. This is like the married with kids eye.
Yeah,
You see it now, can't you? But when I'm working, I work online, so I'm having to look at myself all the time, and I'm just like,
it's a lot
do
less.
this.
Oh, right. Is that what you've been doing? I hadn't know.
Yeah.
No, but it's a lot less noticeable with the glasses on. With the good, right?
Vanity, see. So I'm too I wasn't too vain to do all my shows with my dodgy eye, but I was obviously vain because I got it done in the first place.
So they
So
can't
the
just
lesson,
shove something in now to like lift it up again.
like a matchstick or something.
I don't know, but however it works in the first place.
Oh, you mean
and it
Botox?
lifts.
Apparently not. Apparently
And you
not.
just have to
Apparently-
keep going to even it out. Like,
Exactly.
eyes over
I
the
think
back of your head.
I think my lessons learned is just I'm not going to fuck with my face anymore. Don't fuck you
Yeah.
with your face. Children, don't fuck with your face.
Don't
Don't
fuck the
face fuck
face.
yourself. Don't face
Yeah.
fuck yourself.
No face fucking, please.
We should have done. Annoyingly, I look like the late queen and the current queen because of my hair, which you can't really see now, but you can see on stage. And I've had people roast me that I'm Camilla Parker Bowles,
Oh.
or I've got hair like the late queen. I'm like,
And you do look like you're in heaven.
Thanks.
Right there. Because
Yeah.
you're in white, you're in a white background, white headphones. You just need the white glasses.
I'm got it.
Anyway, this has been a cracking chat. I knew it would be. What to finish off with, because it's something I maybe want to do here, is create avatars of us having this chat. So I need you to decide, what would you be? What animal would you be? What fantasy creature? What inanimate object? What any fusion of these things? You could be any weird and wonderful creature. What would you be? Or it could just be like, I'd like to be a cat.
And no, I reckon I was thinking 2 things. Well, one, I was thinking golden retriever because I'd love a golden retriever, and we've got the same hair. And 2, a mop, maybe a mop because again I've got the same hair as a mop. I was thinking like a Primark mannequin because they're like the perfect body shape, the clothes fit them, and really
That goes with
smooth
your
skin.
show.
And it goes with the plug for my show for Edinburgh Fringe.
Which is
The Devil Wears Primark. Get your tickets at www.devilwearsprimark.com. It's not the
links here, there, everywhere.
It's not the Devil Wears Primark because I couldn't afford.
That's really good. Good
What would
stuff.
you be?
I'm gonna be a purple squid, giggly squid,
Giggly squid.
part human, part squid, part octopus, big googly fucking eyeballs, freak.
Part restaurant franchise chain in the UK.
Is it, what, the giggly squid? Is it? Oh right. Oh,
It's
no,
actually
desperate.
Giggling Squid. Great Asian food. Give them a plug. Maybe they'll sponsor your next show or something.
Slight difference, just in case the lawyers are listening. Giggly.
Well, if the lawyers are listening, I'm screwed.
I think there was another film coming out before you came up with the title, the Devil Wears Prada.
So no, actually, I didn't. And so how it came about is I got roasted on stage, and I was told I looked like Marilyn Monroe on methadone.
Nice.
I was told I looked like a young Meryl Streep, and I keep getting told I look like a young Meryl Streep, which I was like, thanks very much. And then I was like, sure, in The Devil Wears Primark. And then that became like a staple for my shows for a while. And I thought, well, that's actually a great name for a show. And then someone said The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out. And I was like,
Pleasure.
that's also great. So it was a mix of those things.
Because it's quite an old reference with regards to films, isn't it? But if there's another one coming out, this is the problem I have with some of my bits, outdated references. I have a bit at the moment which references Shaggy. You remember Shaggy? It wasn't me.
I'm seeing Shaggy on Saturday at Rock to Rio concert.
Well, there you go. And I'm really hoping
Shaggy's back.
I'm hoping Shaggy's back. He's big again. Then all the kids will be like, oh, we know who Shaggy is. Because at the moment, when I talk about Shaggy in my bit, it's not landing at all. Because a lot of them don't know who the fuck
What
Shaggy
about when you
is.
do it in front of older expats? Do they get a laugh? Does it get a laugh? Because would Americans get him? I don't think so.
Well, the thing is, it's play on Shaggy from Scooby Doo and Shaggy the artist, the performer, the singer. So in a lot of countries, it turns out that Shaggy from Scooby Doo is not called Shaggy. In Brazil, Brazil is called salsicha, like sausage. I don't know.
And I'd be so annoyed if I go to this Rock and Rio concert on Saturday and there's Shaggy from Scooby Doo on stage for an hour.
That'd be better. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Rachael, fantastic. Devil Wears Primark.
Do you think, can anyone else comes on your show, can they do this?
Fuck me, well, that's freaky enough. Fuck, I didn't even know that was possible.
I know. Do you think we were funny enough?
Got that. That's funny enough. That's the promo right there. Perfect. All right. I hope it goes brilliantly in Edinburgh. I'm sure it will. Very funny woman. Thanks for coming on. And
thank you. Bye.
So that was a fun chat with Rachael. Funny lady. Go and see her, lady. Woman. Female. Go and see her solo show at Edinburgh. It'll be a lot of fun. Details are here somewhere. Get tickets before they all sell out. Now, just a quick update on Pissgate, Stinky Pissgate. Rachel's mother, since recording, has confirmed that men's piss does not smell worse than women's piss. Rachel's mother, who worked at the crazy house, the mental home, said it was just the fact that men tend to spray piss all over the floor. And stale piss stinks. Whether it's male or female, stale piss stinks. Now you know. If you want more nonsense like that, chats with the funny folk and freaks, follow me, like me, subscribe to me, all that stuff. And then whenever I get around to doing this again, something will pop up to tell you to watch it if you want. Until then, see you later, freaks.